another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show.
Oh, no.
And I just want to say thank you to Bruce and Ruben for joining me tonight. And say hi to the chat. I see that Clockwork Rex is in here. And Lloyd, Christmas, hello. And let's see who else. Oh, Jackie Blue, hi, good luck. Thank you. And that's so far, that's the only ones who've commented. That's great. But thank you. Oh, hi, George. Thank you for stopping in. And hopefully we're going to be talking about a few good things that's going on. But, you know, it's going to be a lot of shit as always. But say hello, Ruben and Bruce. Say hi to everybody.
Hello and Merry Krampusnacht.
What?
Krampusnacht. It's the 5th of December, the night where you have cities like San Antonio having an actual parade of cosplayers doing the Krampus March.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Going on right now, actually about an hour ago in King William District.
Crazy.
Well, hello, everybody. Seeing a few more people slowly. Hi. Really appreciate it a lot. And so you want to say hi, Ruben?
Hello. Ask any question. I'll give you any answer, but don't be what do you want to? Don't be how do you say it? What's the right word? Don't be offended if you don't like the answer.
Yeah.
Answer all questions.
Don't ask questions in. You learn who not to ask questions. If you want to hear some bullshit, then you make sure you talk to the person you know is going to fill you with the shit.
Right. I'll tell the
I'd
truth.
rather have the truth. So.
The truth.
So I found a couple things that I thought were kind of funny that I wanted to start off with, because I always try to start off with something that's not so crap and bullshit and stuff that we have to deal with anyways every day, and something you might not have seen. So I'm going to share a few things really quick. This one I saw, it came across my timeline, and I just couldn't help but laugh. I guess all of us are going to end up there one day. We may not end up in a nursing home, but we're all going to get old. And we're going to have to deal with whatever is put in front of us, and because we won't be able to run, you know what I'm saying? So I thought this was funny because someone had posted it on their timeline, and before I start it, right here it says, "Please God, don't let me end up in old people's home when I get their age." So I just wanted to share this with you. This poor guy's expression and stuff. And what I was explaining to Bruce was, I volunteered before in a lot of nursing homes and stuff like that. It's not like, unless it's an exclusive place where they have real talent that comes in and entertains and stuff once a week, you have volunteers, people from churches and youth groups and schools and things like that that just come in. So you don't know what you're going to get. So I thought this was great, but this is somebody that's got the Christmas spirit and they wanted to share it at this nursing home. So here we go.
Crowded room, frantic tired eyes. I'm hiding from you, and you're so right. I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on.
I don't know what he said to him, but I'm sure he wasn't real happy about it. But that's enough torture for everyone. But I just wanted to share that because I thought it was really funny.
You know what he said? Do you know what he said?
No.
Dear God, I'm in hell. Dear God, I'm in hell.
Probably,
No.
but it didn't look like he was enjoying himself, and he was trying to be nice to him. He probably said, "Please don't hold my hand," or something like that. I don't know what, but it was just funny because I have been to many nursing homes to see relatives and friends, and I did volunteer and go to some like and do puzzles. I mean, I did tons of stuff, but I just thought that was funny and it made me laugh, and I thought maybe it'd make everybody else laugh. But here's a couple other little things I thought were interesting to start off, where I don't have to piss everybody off or whatever. Just to give you guys something to think about that's not going to be some of the shit that we're going to be doing here in a minute. So let me make sure I open the right one. So give me 1 second. Darn it. I always try to get these in order and I don't know how to do it. Let me see if this is it. No. Oh, so bad at this. Oh, yeah. Here we go. I saw this and I thought it was great. And it says cats are even cunts to each other. So I think it's a British person who posted it, but it's funny. If anyone out there has a cat, I think you'll understand.
This is zonked out.
What did you bring me?
I want your gift, girl.
Zonked out.
You see, look.
What did you bring me?
Oh, I just thought that was so funny. It scared the shit out of the other cat, but I don't have a cat. I'm allergic to cats, so I pet them and stuff, but I don't spend a lot of time with them because they make me itch, make my eyes swell shut and stuff. But I thought that was funny. So, do either one of you guys have a cat? I don't think Bruce does. But
No. Yes, George. Real
I have
mouse.
several pussies.
that was a real dead mouse. Yes, the cat had caught it, and he was proud of it, and he's trying to share it.
No one got that?
So, well, it's so much AI out there already now that you don't even know if it's real, but I thought it was hilarious. So I wanted to share it. But here's the one other thing
Bruce, did you get that joke?
I did. It was good.
I'm sorry. I didn't get it. What was it?
I said, I have many pussies.
Oh, okay. I get it now. But this next one I wanted to share because So many people are hating on Trump, for whatever he says. He's an asshole, whatever it is. But I want to show you something that I think is impressive. And I've seen many of these videos, but you don't see them that often because people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share anything he does that's good. But I've seen him do this many times with police officers and Girl Scouts and just tons of people. And I want to share this video because this is him. And it's his motorcade. And there's a bunch of firemen over here. And I want to show you what happens. That is a character. To me, that shows character of who our president really is. He's willing to risk his life because every single time he gets out of that vehicle, he could be killed. People don't even realize that he's already been multiple times. People have tried to kill him. And the fact that he still takes that risk and then all the people that guard him have to rush around and try to figure out how to let him do this without risking him being killed. And how happy all those firemen were that the president of the United States stopped and got out of his vehicle to go over and shake their hands and greet them in person. How many presidents did that kind of stuff?
No, this is the first.
So I just want people to realize that we are lucky to have this person. He's not perfect because guess what? He's just a man. He's just a person like we are. He was born, he was raised, he learned how to go potty, he did everything we've done. Got married, had a baby, multiple babies, worked, paid bills, been sad, had his heart broken, everything that we've gone through.
Multiple women.
He's been through that.
Very attractive ones at that. I mean, even though Marla was nothing to sneeze at her death in her heyday, like in the 40s and 50s, like every man would have had a stiff 7 inches for her.
But I don't know. It just makes me feel good to know that we had somebody like him as president, at least in my lifetime, been able to see that. And it's sad to see so
he's
many
still here.
people that hate him, They absolutely hate his guts. I just can't stand anything he does. If he cured any disease or I don't know. It's like he can't do anything right. But I'm proud of him. And every single time he does anything like that, I want people to see it. Not because I want him to think he's the best guy ever. I just want him to see that, he is a decent guy. I mean, he could just say, fuck you, like someone else we just got rid of. Didn't give a shit about anyone because he didn't even know who he was. He didn't even know who himself was, let alone anything else. But I'm tired of people that just care about themselves and don't do anything for someone else. And the fact he's not taking a check to do it, even though he's being guarded, he gets to eat well and he gets to travel, but he's always doing stuff. And every single time he signs an executive order, he is surrounded by people to see him with his own hand and a pen signing it. And who's standing by him? All the people that helped draft whatever it is that he's signing so that they can explain what it is.
Speaking of the hand, did you hear about Big Mike being the one that they thought was helping Joe with the auto pen?
No, I haven't heard that yet. Do you have anything on that we could look at later?
Yeah, let me put that fucker in chat because.
Okay, because one thing I wanted to start off with tonight was the whole bomber thing, right? The DC bomber finally came out of the actual arrest. And I watched an actual interview with Kash Patel talking about how they went back and started from the very beginning of everything the other administration had supposedly looked into and said, it's nothing. They just kind of went through the whole thing again. And it's amazing the stuff that they said that was just kind of like, oh, well, they didn't even look at it because so much of it was on camera, where he bought the stuff to make the bombs, everything. They had all this evidence, and they didn't even try to get the person, even though he was on camera and everything. And all the agencies that he used to work with, all the companies and stuff. So really, really interesting. What's that?
Are
Oh,
you hearing bells?
that's Ruben. Is that a phone ringing? That's a scary, eerie ringtone. But I wanted to bring this up real quick.
It was for ambiance.
Oh, I want to bring this up because I didn't know if you guys had seen this or not. It says DC pipe bomb suspects history comes out, devastating to Democrats. And I'm going to share this in the chat for everyone here, and so you can read it. But the man accused of planting the pipe bombs at the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic National Committees on January 6, 2021, battled the Department of Homeland Security during President Donald Trump's first term. According to this new report, Brian Cole Jr., 30, was arrested Thursday. And it's got a whole bunch of information on here about him. It says a report from the Daily Wire said Cole worked for a bail bond company owned by his father that advocated for illegal immigrants. The report.
Are we surprised?
Yeah, but this was in 2021. Okay, this was years ago. And said the report said Cole's father owned multiple businesses, one of which was Statewide Bonding Inc., immigration bonds, which works to get illegal immigrants out of jail. I wonder who was paying him all that money. Remember what we did a couple shows and we brought people out of the crowd. They were saying that the lawyers in the crowd were wearing certain color vests and hats.
Mm-hmm.
So that they could keep an eye on people and know to follow them when they would get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And they were always in every crowd, and somebody's funding them. Somebody's paying to have all these hoodlums and criminals there to commit crimes, yet they have all these lawyers already paid and ready to bust people out. So I was like, wow, this is really good. And there's a lot of detail in this. And if this is how they're working on all these to arrest all these people. Now, this is from 2021. He and Kash Patel said, I have been trying to weed out the bad ones in his department, but let the other ones do their jobs. I'm just letting them go back, start from scratch on all these different things and do the job, what they were trained to do. And so far, this right here, this report that I've been reading about this guy and why they know it's him and all the information they have, I'm excited for it because I think it's great. And I'm just going to play this video. So just give me a second.
Wait. He's actually trans.
Yeah,
he's
there's
trans.
A lot of things in there. There's lots of information.
He's trans white.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it with everyone, but I want you guys to listen to this. Here we go.
Years, Washington, D.C. Who placed the pipe bombs on January 6th? Today, we have a supposed answer, but that answer has launched 1,000 questions. Brian Cole Jr., the man accused of planting pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters, appeared in court today. He acknowledged the 2 charges against him, transporting an explosive device and malicious destruction by means of explosion. Sources say that Cole spent more than 4 hours talking to investigators yesterday. He admitted to planting the bombs and expressed doubts about the 2020 election results, according to reports and sources out of that interrogation. Here's what we do know about Cole. He's a 30-year-old black man from Virginia who works at a bail bond company. We know that his father owned a bail bond business. Cole bought components for the built bombs in 2019 and 2020. And we also know this thanks to the New York Post. Cole's father, Brian Cole Sr., was once represented by well-known attorney Ben Crump, perhaps the biggest racial incendiarist in America. It was in 2021 that Crump and Cole Sr. claimed the sale of Cole's Tennessee bond business was being blocked because he was black. Cole's grandma tells the Post, "I don't believe this at all. He's not a terrorist. He's almost autistic-like because he doesn't understand a lot of stuff. I hope he is not talking." Now, before seeing the photo of Brian Cole Jr., we presume before he saw the photo, you never quite know in the Ministry of Propaganda, this is how he was described by CNN's Jake Tapper.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion.
30-year-old white man, says CNN. The big question, I guess, amongst the many after we've been given this answer is, why did it take so long? Why did it take 5 years to catch Brian Cole? The answer we're being given is that the FBI went back through original evidence. They discovered receipts that show Cole purchased bomb-making materials. They tracked his cell phone data, revealing that he was in the area, and discovered his car was placed less than a mile from the scene of the crime. So no new evidence, no new tips. Again, why did it take 5 years? FBI Director Kash Patel says because of sheer incompetence and intentional negligence.
The prior administration sat on the evidence for 4 years. There wasn't any production of new evidence from 5 years ago. We looked at 3 million lines of evidence. We went back and looked at the cell phone tower data dumps. We went back and looked at the providers and what information they provided pursuant to search warrants at the time, and asked questions such as, why weren't all the phone numbers scrubbed and why weren't they connected and why wasn't there any geolocational data done? Now, that is either sheer incompetence or complete intentional negligence, and neither of which is acceptable for this FBI.
Today, Democrats say the Trump administration is to blame for the 5-year delay.
I think it is good news if this perpetrator got arrested, but I gotta tell you, it kind of makes me, looking at this crowd doing a victory lap, when all the senior FBI officials across all key divisions have been fired for political purposes. It's a little rich that they're saying American safer. How much earlier could we have caught this guy if resources hadn't been diverted?
Interesting. Let's bring in retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon. Bobby, I'd love to put that question to you. Why did it take 5 years?
Well, maybe just like the representative just said, resources were diverted. We know that no stone was left unturned in the January 6th investigation. I mean, if you threw a bubblegum wrapper on the Washington Mall that day, you were tracked down by the FBI and arrested. So maybe we have to look into whether resources were diverted to the January 6th debacle instead of this much more serious criminal act.
I'm a little confused by that, Bobby, because purportedly this was part of the quote-unquote January 6th debacle. The way the story unfolded initially is that this was part of the story of January 6th. So I don't understand why resources would have been diverted to somebody dropping bubblegum wrappers onto the ground, but they wouldn't be paying attention to who placed a pipe bomb at the RNC and DNC.
Well, perhaps if the bomb was not at the RNC, you could uphold the MAGA narrative of January 6th. But the minute they found out, oh, there was also a bomb placed at the RNC, that kind of diverts from that narrative. And so maybe people stayed away from it because it didn't perfectly fit the January 6th narrative because of a bomb also being placed at the RNC. It'd be interesting to see if there wasn't a bomb at the RNC, whether this would have been wholeheartedly taken as part of the January 6th investigation, because clearly it wasn't.
Okay, so your suggestion is perhaps resources were diverted because they didn't think that this part of what happened on January 6th would fit the overall narrative. There is an alternative potentiality as well, and that is that the truth was unveiled during the investigation, and then they knew it didn't fit the overall narrative. We should also note, and I'm willing to talk to you about this, I mean, you know more than I do about this, that it takes time to do investigation. I do have trouble with that. Bobby, I have trouble with the idea that tracking down cell phone data and pinging towers and looking at video surveillance and finding where cars are parked takes 5 years. I have a lot of trouble with that, to be honest. But, you know, I think we have to consider all of these alternatives.
Yeah, you're right to be troubled with that, by the way, because on Thursday, yesterday when we heard, me and my colleagues heard that, you know, an arrested man, we just assumed there was something new. We assumed somebody came forward with something new. Somebody found something. But when then we heard the fact that this is nothing new. This is all old information that they just went and re-reviewed. That's troubling, because why was it missed the first time around? If this was all with the technology that they have now that can analyze things in the blink of an eye, why did it take this long when nothing new came to bear?
And it's so egregious that it would be irrational not to question whether or not it was missed. I think at some point that has to be part of the conversation. It's so, from this vantage point, so egregious that you wonder if it's that level of incompetence or, as Kash Patel suggested, intentional negligence. I'd love to revisit this with you really quickly. This is former FBI Director Chris Wray in 2023.
This is somebody with a mask on, wearing a hat. They're walking in front of the DNC, which is out of the view on the right-hand side. You'll see him come into view. He goes to one police car. He goes to another police car. He's holding a backpack. He's got a mask on. He's talking to the police. If that person found the pipe bomb, would they be a suspect?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate about specific individuals. I will tell you that we have done thousands of interviews.
Have you interviewed that
the
person?
Devices. We have conducted all logical investigative steps and interviewed all logical individuals.
So he's saying they did everything possible. They combed every piece of evidence. And yet here we are today. It took 5 years and 10 months of a new FBI.
Right. And everything Christopher Wray had in his possession and the FBI had in his possession that day that he testified was used to get the charges brought against this individual yesterday or today. So why was that? Nothing new has happened since he gave that testimony. He claims, yeah, they did all the interviews, but why didn't they connect the dots? The dots were connected now with information that they had back then. That's the troubling part. If you want to restore credibility and integrity to the FBI, you have to be transparent in this process and tell us why it took so long.
Yeah, none of this makes sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't pass the smell test. None of it adds up. I'd love for someone to tell me differently. Okay, well, I appreciate that. That means we need to continue, obviously, to continue digging. Bobby Chacon, thank you.
Well, what do you guys think? Why do you think they didn't do anything when they are using the exact same stuff that they collected, but it's been 5 years before they did anything? Do you think it had something to do with them saying, well, this guy's a Democrat, he's this, he's that. We're just gonna brush it to the side because it doesn't help us. You see what I mean? Instead of they're playing politics instead of being
possible.
Well, this is our job. We're supposed to arrest this person. He tried to kill people.
You know why they didn't do shit.
Yeah,
I hope you understand why.
I do. That's why I wanted to share it. I mean, how much more of this kind of stuff do you think they're going to find? That's what I'm trying to tell people. You got to give them a little more time. I'm not happy with having to wait either. But remember, I've talked about this many times when we're not even on camera, because I just want people to understand how deep this shit really is, because it is
there's a line that you should draw where, like, no, we don't want to know how far this goes. We really don't.
Well, how are we going to fix it? How are we ever going to have honest elections, fair FBI investigations?
I have an idea, but nobody wants to get involved with it.
A legal thing.
Oh, hey, everybody.
It's completely fucking legal. It's completely fucking legal.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. But look, there's some things that are classified, because I've worked in that area of the military intelligence.
Yeah.
Some things you don't need to know. You just don't need to know it. It's classified.
Well, I'm not saying I need to know. What I'm saying is our government needs to put this out and say, we got the right guy and we're taking him to military court or whatever it is.
Whatever they got to do.
And then we're going to crucify this person. You know,
yeah, I'm not opposed to locking somebody in Guantanamo. If they're that kind of person, fuck yeah. Oh, sorry.
Well, I say that word myself. So.
I'm just saying,
welcome to the shit show, Rex, and hope you.
Thank you very much. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Just fit right in.
It's Friday night and I feel all right.
We know what to do with traitors to the Constitution and the Republic, but y'all don't have the fucking sand to do it. That's the problem that I have, because like then we got to get all the fucking little lawyers involved, and like, oh no, we can't do.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got to have the lawfare start up the moment
the
Trump
thing
starts doing
is,
something good.
look what
that
happened
we're-
to Trump. Look what happened to Trump when Obama was president.
Well, I mean, you know, they hated each other
I
apparently.
know, but they put him in court over and over and over.
Over and over. Yeah.
If it hadn't been for them going to court and proving that it was all bullshit, okay,
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. No.
He'd be in jail like the January 6ers were, things like that.
Okay,
So
think about.
we
Well,
need
yeah, but
the law. We need the law.
we
and
need the law.
follow the law, because if we don't, all of us, people like me, would have been thrown in jail
Okay.
because I didn't want to get the jab. You see what I'm saying? We have
Okay,
to have
two
law and
things.
order.
Two things. Okay, when you elect a bunch of lawyers to make the law, what do you think's going to happen?
You're going to build protections in for themselves, of course. First.
Well,
Exactly.
how many
All right.
people were lawyers that wrote our Constitution?
Well, most of them.
There wasn't so.
Yeah,
There was,
what I'm
But
saying,
at least you know it
there
was
are
simple
good
back then.
lawyers and there are bad ones. There are
there,
corrupt
there,
judges
the
and there's
Constitution was written more by.
politicians.
It was written more by farmers and laymen than
Well,
by
and
fucking
Benjamin Franklin, the whore of the world. Yeah.
hey, listen, I'm not going to bitch about Ben Franklin writing a letter.
Oh
on
no,
how to-
he was
how to
fucking
pick a
look.
district.
Without him, you know,
My
he's
God.
the only guy. He's the only guy ever been elected not been elected president. And guess what he's on? The $100 bill.
Yeah. That's all I'll be Brandon Franklin Jr.
Mm. And a little bit of Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, I am actually. Who am I? Thomas Paine, Emil Kant.
Oh, look, Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death.
Well, I'm actually more Samuel Clemens when it comes to that.
Oh, Mark Twain. Yeah, that motherfucker was great. He was great.
I say all the time. I say funny shit. You ask me any question, I'll answer. You ask me any question, I'll give you any whimsical. I'll give you the best answers possible.
Hey, look, ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies.
That's true too. But what people say,
Yeah, you don't learn very much.
don't be afraid of the answer I give you. That's the best way I can describe it myself.
Well, I kind of put it like this. There are no stupid questions, but there are very stupid answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But
My
okay,
favorite.
well, next thing I wanted to bring up, I got sick to my stomach when I watched this video. The thought of it is disgusting, but this is just a tiny grain of sand compared to all the other shit that's going along with just bringing illegals in and then the process we're having to go through to get rid of them because of them pouring in for years and with the help of people that wanted cheap labor. You know, when you can hire 6 employees for the price of 1, put them all into a subsidized house that you don't have to pay for because the rest of us are paying for it, right? They're making bank. They're making hand over fist, and we're finding fraud out the wazoo. I mean, everywhere, every state, especially Democrat states. We're finding more and more of them bust in, flown in, free housing, medical, everything. And we were paying for it. And that's why they're throwing such a fit to stop us from taking them out of the country.
What do you think about Somalia, Janet? I mean, they're pretty cheap labor.
Yeah, but there's no jobs.
No. We just put them in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota.
Well, yeah, that's what
Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin and Minnesota.
This is what I wanted to show you. It says, this guy says he worked at a major food production plant in Minnesota. They brought in Somalians who defecated and urinated wherever they wanted, and they washed their genitals in the sinks. And he says, we are eating this food here in the United States and Canada. So I want to play this video for you. And he's moved, but enjoy, everyone. Just like I did the Christmas cookies. Now I'm going to ruin some more food for you.
It's been on my former home state.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much.
The Trump and Somali issue. I worked in a major food production facility that supplies the United States and Canada with food. I watched as they brought Somalians in, and they began to urinate and defecate wherever they pleased within this food production facility plant. We had to put up signs explaining how to use the bathroom correctly, but yet it was never corrected. I seen as grown men wash their genitals within the sinks, made homemade bidets from the garbage in the break rooms, and then brought in a roach infestation to the plant. Once again, I will tell you this is a major food production facility and cannot shut down for anything. I did, however, have it shut down once for a lockdown due to one of them returning to the food processing facility with a knife. It's a real problem, and it's a major reason why I left Minnesota. I just want everyone to know that I hold no ill towards these people. It's not their fault. They come from somewhere that has a private problem and is ran by tribes. There's no rule of law. How do you expect them to integrate within modern society is beyond me. I do, however, blame the state of Minnesota. I watched as they brought these people in with the sole purpose of driving down the wage. They want to make wage slaves. People ask themselves, how is it that someone could work this job? How else will we get people to work here? Unless we bring in immigrants. You're holding them hostage. You are bringing these people in and holding them hostage. They are nothing more than a modern slave. I've seen it myself. As these poor people come into this country and are treated so horribly in these jobs, or are forced to integrate into something that they don't understand, on the sole fact that they're trying to feed their family back home.
I know where he's talking.
It's a terrible thing. And it's truly sad to watch. As I said, I hold no ill will towards these people, and I understand why they did come to this country. I completely get it. I would also want to try to leave Somalia or Mexico or wherever else these people come from. But when they get here and are forced to do the slave labor of the entitled and rich who watch their lawn get pampered by them, or their food made by them,
Yeah, just break a bone.
or even driven around by these people. It's wrong, and we all know it. And it's time to stand up and do something right about it. Is that sending everyone back? I honestly don't know. But we need to do something. It's a sad situation that the United States has put itself in and is allowed to happen. With the rise of inflation, the problems will only get worse. Right now is the time to try to act either by raising the wages and allowing these people to integrate into society, or by sending them back. There's no in between. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, excuse me.
I seen a country growing up that was rich, and I felt like I always had hope. Currently, I don't. This is larger than a Somalian issue and larger than what I've seen in food production. This is a true problem for America.
Well, the one thing that I can definitely say is he feels sorry for the people because he actually worked with them, so he knows where they came from. He knows their lifestyle. He probably saw a couple of them's, the way they dress, whatever else. But the thing is that all of these people that came here, the ones who came over the border. I'm not talking about some of them that were flown in by our government. Now, that was on the people that brought them here. The other ones, though, that walked over the border, knowing they were going under a fence or climbing a fence, they knew they were criminals. Okay. They already broke the law just coming here. I'm telling you right now, any of you out there want to do an experiment, put a GoPro on and go into another country and try to, get free a place to live and try to do some of the things that these people have done and tell me what happens to you. You're going to get arrested. You're going to be put in prison. That's what's going to happen. Because we're the only country that just lets you come here and get free shit. Nobody else does it but us. So you can look it up yourself if you want. I've done it many times, and we're the only country that does it. But it's sad that we were this bad off simply because these people have been brought in and used. They are slaves basically because they've been used by the people that were trying to corrupt the system. There's a few other stories that I'm gonna bring in tonight too to show you about how lots of different areas that they've used all these people to drive trucks, to work in factories, to do all these different things so that these companies that own all these factories, now I'm not just talking about the one guy at this store or this one manager at this plant or whatever. That's not how small this is. This is huge. This is just like someone had said in the chat about Tyson. It's not just one Tyson plant. It's the whole company bringing in all these people and sending them wherever they need them to get cheap labor in their plant. Because what happens when you bring in cheap labor? For one, you don't have to pay them full wages. You don't have to pay anything else. You don't have to give them promotions. You don't have to pay for their vacations. You don't have to help pay for their insurance. Because guess what? Since they're illegals or they're here because they're from a war-torn country or whatever, guess what? They get free shit from the rest of us. The taxpayers pay their way. So the company brings them here. They pay them pennies on the dollar, right? And there's 10 families living in one house or whatever, or however they do it. And they don't care. The people running that company don't give a shit whether these people have anything. Okay. They're just
Janet, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the first job you had? What was the very
babysitting? But you talking about getting a paycheck from someone at a company?
Yeah, like you started
at
work
a
for
chicken plant.
You worked where?
I worked at a chicken plant.
Chicken plant. Oh my God.
Every
the
summer.
Horrors. The
Yeah,
horrors.
I caught live chickens and hung them on the processing line. I did every job you could think of in a chicken plant to make money to pay for my annual, my senior ring, and things like that every summer.
Well, the first official paycheck I got was actually priming corn, if I'm remembering right. Do you know what that is? Oh, hard job. Second one was McDonald's. But I always helped my great-grandfather skin his pigs and, kill his chickens and collect his eggs and all that. Look, a chicken coop, it ain't a pretty sight. It is not. Okay, sorry. I said
no, that's okay. But the thing is that that's what they were doing. So this is big. So this isn't something where you can just go in and arrest a couple people. This is a big thing. You got to follow the money. You got to find out who brought them in, who filed all the paperwork to get all these people in there, all that stuff. It's got a lot of shit behind it. And that's what's slowly unfolding. And we're finding out more and more about all the fraud coming out of Somalia, coming to Minnesota, right?
$1 million worth.
So we're going to see a shit ton of stuff happening all next year with all of this. And that's just from one state. So I'm telling you, you guys are we're going to be bowled over next year on how much was actually going on. And guess who paid for it? We did. Every person who had a freaking job that said FICA on their check You paid for all of this shit. All the shit that Doge has been finding, all the shit about Social Security, all the shit that you're seeing with this fraud with the trucking industries, with this kind of stuff, with that factory that they're letting people shit and piss everywhere, not wash their hands, and who knows how many people got sick from it. You know, we don't know, and we'll
There's
probably
no
never
telling.
know.
Yeah, there's no telling.
There's no telling, and it's sad to think about it, because it's just like you go into a restaurant and you ordering, say you ordered a steak dinner, blah blah blah, right? And then you get your food and stuff, you eat it and you leave, come to find out that wasn't even steak that you ate.
Oh,
It was a man-made steak or whatever. What I'm saying is, if you don't know about what it really was, who's going to tell you? Nobody.
Well,
They don't
the
want
only real hope I have for that 3D printed meat shit. Okay, look, take a couple of my cells out of my kidney. My kidney's going bad. 3D print me another kidney. That way I do not need rejection drugs. Because it is my kidney.
Yeah. I've seen them. They're doing lots of stuff like that in Sweden. Those laboratories are working on tons of things like that, which is great. But when you use it to lie and cheat people, that's a criminal act, and you should be.
I mean, it could very easily go into the Blade Runner thing, where you got the clones that live for 5 years and then they die. It could very easily go.
They're getting harvested. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this next thing I wanted to bring up is someone who's talking about what I've just said. He's ready for somebody to pay for this shit. And he says it needs to happen now, and he's ready for it. And a lot of people are. And they're starting with this guy. They tried to start it with Comey, but you saw how that worked. We got too many corrupt judges. We need Congress to get out their ass and get rid of these judges and put them, the ones Trump has picked, in, so we can start putting some of these people in court. But we can't go to court when you have a corrupt judge. They're going to get off. They're going to get a slap on the wrist. So we need to work on that. Harass your congressmen to do their damn jobs in your state. Here we go.
You might want to turn your volume down, because I'm about to cuss a lot. What I'm about to say, I know millions of Americans feel this way. But this message goes out to President Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, GOP, the Republican Party. What the fuck is taking so long? You're about to complete your first year, and no one has been held accountable of weaponizing the DOJ, the fraud that's been exposed, USAID, and all that NGO money, the illegal immigrants who were flown to America on U.S. taxpaying dollars, the motherfuckers from Afghanistan sent here who just killed our National Guard. No one has been held fucking accountable yet. And we're getting sick and fucking tired of waiting for accountability. And I don't want to hear that bullshit. Lou, trust the process. It takes time to build a case. No, fuck that. You're in your first year. We know what you know, and we've been calling this shit out for years now. And no one has been held accountable. Not Obama, not Biden, not Clapper, not Brennan, not Comey, not Pelosi. And we've known about this for years. And we're getting sick and tired of fucking waiting. We fought day in and day out the last 10 years with our hands tied behind our fucking back, bringing the truth to these stupid ass Americans who believe the bullshit from the left. We got you in that seat. We got them appointed, and then we got the GOP elected. While we were down and they were trying to lock President Trump up, they kept kicking us while we were down. Why in the fuck is the right, or you guys, giving these fucking people the kid gloves? Why are y'all being nice to these fucking people? Because they weren't nice to us. To this day, they're still not nice to us. They killed Charlie Kirk, motherfuckers. They try to take out President Trump. What the fuck are you waiting for?
Told ya. But the thing is, we need to see this stuff. We need to realize that people are fed up and they want justice.
Yeah, but that's not justice.
They need to start doing something.
That's vengeance. That's not justice.
No, it isn't. It may sound like vengeance, but if we have evidence and we can take them to court, why don't we
can't do it? But that's not, because things take time, and in the end, things will work out. But you have to be patient. You have to do it the right way.
Yeah,
You have to approach it. You have to approach it with love. That's vengeance. And
hey, look,
we can't
and
afford that
then
right
you've
now.
always got to take in the random factor of there's this fucking nut job that took out Charlie Kirk and tried to take out President Trump and tried to take out President Kennedy. Did or Reagan, because he was in love with Jodie Foster, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they went to prison. Some of those people that did do these acts died, were shot, were killed, but they were arrested and put in jail. So you know, we can only do so much. But what I'm trying to show you is that there are many people voicing their opinion and saying these things, and if we share it, maybe enough people will see it and they'll say, well, if they're going to talk about it or they're going to say what they think, then why shouldn't I? And to me, that's important, that we all speak our mind, that we all tell the truth, and that we do the best we can to get all the facts together and make sure that we tell that they understand that we mean business, and that the next election that comes up, you know, we're going to say big fuck you if you don't do something. And things are slowly coming together, just like what Cash said in that whole interview that you saw. He said he just let them start from the beginning and lay it out, everything that they got to get this guy. They could have already arrested this guy, but they didn't. So now we're going to arrest this guy. We're going to punish this guy. But now on top of that, there's going to be a whole nother investigation to find out who the fuck stopped them from arresting anybody before, when they had all the same evidence that they have right now. So that's what I'm talking about. That corruption is on top of all the other shit that we know we have proof for. And we just got to follow it. And hopefully we have enough people that were brought in, new people that want the truth, that want transparency, that will help clean out the corruption somehow and punish them. But here's another gentleman that feels like he's been betrayed by some of the stuff that's coming out. And which is great, because we need people to wake up and see the truth. And hopefully more and more people are waking up and they're going to voice their opinions. So I think it's important. And I'm thankful that I live in a country that we have the right to do that.
I just got done listening to Ilhan Omar talk about how horrible and terrible and dirty and everything else that this country is.
God, I hate Ilhan Omar.
Denigrating this country, denigrating half of the people in it. This country has been very kind, benevolent, and gracious to her and countless others. We gave her asylum. We gave her a place to live. We gave her an education. We gave her a pathway to become a sitting United States congressman. But to me, it goes deeper than that. Mm-hmm. See, I'm an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran. I was 22 years old when those planes flew into those buildings, and me and thousands of other young men across this country answered the call to go over there and combat this evil that was on our shores, that had finally hit us. And what we were told over and over again is that we go over there and we fight them over there, we will not have to fight them here. And now here we are. We're retired. We're out. We're ready to start pursuing a life of our own. And what does this country do to that enemy that we went over there and we fought to keep over there, because that's what we were told? We kissed our families goodbye. I watched my wife cry while I got on that bus to go to the airport or go to the airfield. I watched my son cry because he didn't know if or when he was going to see me again. And then I come home. I've been retired for 8 years. And I come home, and what are we seeing? We're seeing entire communities being taken over by the very people that we fought to keep off of our shores. Dearborn Mission is completely freaking taken over. Now we have mosques in Minnesota, Texas, Missouri, all over the country, promoting Sharia law. Do we really have to tell people that Sharia law is incompatible with the United States Constitution? We were told that if we fought them over there, we would not have to fight them here. But what do we have? What did you do? You elected it mayor of New York. You gave it Senate seats in Minnesota. Now I want you to turn around. I want you to find an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran somewhere around you, and I want you to look them in the eye and tell them why they should not feel betrayed. Do it. I dare you.
Yeah, and my heart breaks for all our veterans that's had to go to destroy their bodies and their minds for their country, and this is how we pay them by turning our country into the country that they went to try to weed out the bad. It's sad to me. It's heartbreaking as an Air Force brat myself. My dad even told,
Your
yeah.
dad and mom was in the chair force. What are you trying to tell me?
My dad was jungle survival instructor.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he told me and my sisters that the military was no place for a woman. He didn't want any of his daughters in the military, and we didn't. Not one of us did. Not one, but
that's fucked up. Hey, look, the best night of my life was that the night that we went out there for the Christmas thing, because Thanksgiving and Christmas is all that, and I watched those chicks up there singing in the choir. I was like, holy. I'd only seen them in BDUs, like the battlefield uniform dress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were like all dressed up in their A's and shit, I was like, oh, hello there. How you doing?
well, he just said he didn't think it was, that's one of the reasons why.
What ladylike? I got it.
When I asked Bruce to do the movie, we were going to do the movie review for G.I. Jane. He did not want to do it. But the reason, we had two totally different reasons why we liked or didn't like the movie, because the whole aspect of what my dad told me about women being in the military. He said women who end up having to go to war and fight side by side with a man put the men in danger, and not because they can't shoot guns or they're not a good soldier. It's because a man feels like he has to protect the woman.
Well, yeah,
it's also social fiction.
Yeah, and it's
I know that, but that's the reason why. But my dad has gone out and had to do certain things, undercover or whatever you want to call it.
There is a good scene in the movie where it shows the G.I. Jane character with a compass and map, and like most E1 or O1s, O2s, she fucks up and gets damn near everybody killed and lost.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. They kept things accurate there. That's the only accurate part of the movie.
The part where she's getting the shit beat out of her and all that stuff, because her captain is trying to show her that this could happen to her if she's captured, right? That kind of stuff is what my dad tried to explain to us girls about what it's like if you get captured or something like that. Because that's what my dad's job was. It was to train the pilot that if he crashed in behind enemy lines, how to take care of himself, how to survive, how to eat, what not to eat, all those things, how to scuba dive, how to climb a fence, everything. My dad did all those things, and he had 5 daughters. So what was his punishment? That was what he got. But the thing is that I'm a huge supporter of our military, and I don't want to see one penny, not 1 cent, go to any other country or any person that isn't an American citizen, as long as our soldiers are sleeping in the street and not getting the care they deserve, period. That's how I feel about it. But we'll move on. This is the next thing that I thought was pretty important, and I want to share it. I thought it was pretty good. Here comes this new thing. It's $6 billion of fraud perpetrated against we the people. And I wanted to share this right here. Here we go.
Is critically important. Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota gave 33% of these licenses unlawfully. People that should never have a driver's license driving a big rig on American roads, endangering the American people.
Secretary Duffy is threatening to withhold $30 million in funding from Minnesota. Their illegal trucker problem, it's just the latest, because we've been telling you about the
Hey, wait a minute. Time out.
In that
Time out. If I may.
Several
If I
government
may.
agencies are
what?
How many billions of fraud in Minnesota?
Billions.
Here, listen. I'll put it back a little bit. Listen.
It's just the latest because we've been telling you about the massive fraud scheme in that state. Now, several government agencies are investigating everything from.
No, go back.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. No, that was
of
good.
these licenses unlawfully. People that should never have a driver's license driving a big rig on American roads, endangering the American people.
Secretary Duffy is threatening to withhold $30 million in funding from Minnesota. Their illegal trucker problem.
30 million.
It's just the latest because we've been telling you about the massive fraud scheme in that state. Now, several government agencies are investigating everything from small business COVID loans to tracking tax dollars that may have been diverted to terror networks in Somalia. To get an overview of the extent of this problem today, I spoke with Minnesota talk radio host John Justice about it on Will Kane Country, and he says all of what we heard so far, tip of the iceberg.
There is so much more that is going to be revealed within the next year, I am sure of it, that what we're talking about right now will seem relatively small compared to what is still going to come via these ongoing investigations that have been taking place. He just shut down funding to some 14 different programs over fear of fraud here in Minnesota. So the funding is stopped to those programs.
So this Somali autism housing fraud that we have been talking about represents 3 government agencies in Minnesota. Justice suggests this will expand to 14 different agencies. Yesterday, by the way, we told you about an unofficial Minnesota X account claiming to be run by state DHS staffers. The account was suspended, then it was later rebranded. One post on that account said, investigators should start by looking at the Disability Service Administration. So we did. In September, the DHS suspended payments to 11 providers servicing adults with disabilities, accusing them of billing for services that were never provided. Another Minnesota provider was accused of Medicaid fraud in 2023. That one raked in $4 million. You see, when you add this all together, John Justice says we're talking about potentially $6 billion in fraud in Minnesota.
You're seeing exposure in House and Human Services. You're seeing it in autism centers. We've had daycare centers that have been targeted in the past and have been exposed for fraud before, the Feeding Our Future. Hopefully, the federal government will be able to do the deep dive that's necessary, and we're going to see the true extent. Because while you see the number of $2 billion in fraud, most of the rational estimates right now, it's about $6 billion or more in fraud that's just simply gone up in smoke here in Minnesota.
Amazing. It's just pouring out everywhere. Every orifice is just dripping with crime and criminals and
oh my, every orifice.
You know, it's terrible. But I'm glad it's happening because a lot of us have already seen that. We played on this show years ago, little tiny bits of this and that, all about Minnesota criminals. Fraud, all the different stuff that's been going on little by little by little. But look, after you add it all up, like you said, $6 billion. That's just in Minnesota.
It reminds me of, it's like that girl. First time you put the tip in, then you go all the way in.
Yeah.
Just the tip, man. Just the tip.
Terrible.
I mean, they're talking about 40,000 of these Somalis got in illegally on something on fraud or another, because 80,000 was the initial drop. 80,000, 40,000 of them weren't even processed the right way.
$1,000. Yes.
No, 80,000 people were brought in, each one contributing to it was $3 billion in fraud just on their insertion.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still continuing to import more and more and more.
Yeah, it's terrible. But okay, so now I'm moving on from that because that's just a sample. But I'm putting the links in the chat. So later on, if anybody wants to share this show, you can find the links in the chat. the live, from the live stream. But I want to share this because this is something else. See, this is what I was saying about all the different areas in our country where shit's happening. So you've got all the people that Trump put in his cabinet all have bad shit, bad corruption coming out everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. And all of them are trying to do the best they can, I feel, to quash this stuff. But here's the next thing I thought was interesting. So here we go. I'm going to play this for you. There you go.
News out of Michigan. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, Leland. Yeah, the U.S. Attorney in Michigan is calling this the gravest national security concern. You have a Chinese national, a woman who's getting her postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Michigan. Her name is Young King Jian. This is the indictment that you see right here. Her boyfriend comes to visit, lands into Detroit, nonstop flight from Shanghai. They think there's something up with him, Customs and Border Patrol. They start searching him. He says he doesn't have anything. They ask him multiple times. And in his backpack, they find a killer fungus, something known as a terrorism weapon, something capable of taking out billions of dollars in livestock and crops and making people very, very sick. He later admits that he was taking this fungus to his girlfriend, to his Chinese girlfriend, who is doing her postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Michigan. The feds start digging through their cell phones, all of the apps that they have, the Chinese apps that they've been using to communicate, where it's all crystal clear. They had planned this out, that he was going to bring the fungus from China into Detroit and then to the University of Michigan. They figured it all out, the feds, thankfully. They are now charged with a number of things: conspiracy, smuggling, making false statements, also visa fraud, because the boyfriend was coming in on a tourism visa. Leland?
Yeah, and absolutely nobody believes she's just a postdoc fellow studying biofungus and whatever else at the University of Michigan. Brian, this follows up on some incredible reporting you did about a Chinese company that bought a massive amount of land and wanted to build a big factory up in northern Michigan. Are you seeing now a difference in how law enforcement and how communities are treating the Chinese coming in and trying to, use Trojan horses almost?
It's sad that everybody that hated TikTok, how much stuff I'm actually getting from TikTok that's spilling the beans about a lot of this corruption, because you can't play a lot of it.
My brain hurts. My brain hurts now.
That I have put stuff on. I've had my channel taken down for 2 weeks at a time, simply because I've talked about things or shared things that other channels won't, because they don't want to get in trouble. But I've had my channel taken down. That's why I'll never get the hours I need.
Getting in trouble.
But here is the woman. Here's another article about that same woman.
Janet from another planet. I gotta go because I can't hear shit.
Oh,
everybody's talking all at once.
Well,
I'm not
sorry.
even talking, bro.
That's why it's a shit show.
Sorry.
But thank you for joining us tonight. But here is the woman. This is the woman that was supposedly a student in Michigan, and Michigan sure has seemed like that state sure has got some screwed up shit going on in it. And what I'm afraid of, and what I've said many times, is I, as a taxpayer, I don't want to bail out any of these states. The state I'm in right now, Arkansas, has a balanced budget amendment, which means they have to keep the balance going for the whole state, or they're held accountable, the people that are in office. So why can't we do that in every state? You know what I mean? Make every state have a balanced budget amendment, which means that California has to stay within their means. New York has to stay within their means. Minnesota, any of these states have to stay within their budget, period. And we don't have to be responsible to bail them out. So I'm hoping, thank goodness for Trump, that we're not expected to bail out any of these states, because I don't want to bail them out. I don't think any of you do, for this kind of shit. And I hope they keep digging. But the fact that they found this fungus, okay, that could have took out who knows how much of our food, because they're worried. China is they're sweating their balls off because of our tariffs, because now they have to pay the same price we do. Because when we'd send something to them and they'd mark it at 300% and they're getting it for nothing over here. That's why everybody wants to buy something at Dollar Tree, because it's only $1. Look, it's only $1. Yeah, you use it once and it breaks. Who cares? Just buy another one. It's only $1. See what I mean? But that's what they want. And now we're gonna. I wonder. They caught this one couple, right? How many of them have they not caught? That's what's scary to me. I know I'm a black pillar big time. I'm sorry, but that's the kind of stuff I think about. How many of these people got through? What new virus is going to take over our crops where we have no rice or no cotton or whatever it is that they put it on? And how many people are going to get sick and die from it? And where are we getting our medicine? China? How do we know what's even in it? It just, I want us to be self-sufficient. I think our country is big enough. We should be able to grow everything we need, make our own medicine, make our own gas, everything we can do, and then sell what's extra. Sell it to another country to make money. But we shouldn't have to get shit from anyone else. I really do believe that we can do that. And I hope one day that we do. But I wanted to share that other picture so you guys can see it. But so far, have you guys got anything you want to add?
I got some stuff in the private chat.
Okay. Is there something that you can bring up at the bottom?
Hold on.
Okay. If you bring it up, I'll share it, because the other thing at the very beginning that you had, I couldn't open it. It wouldn't let me because it said I had to remove my ad blocker or whatever. And I can't do that. Remember, I just got my computer fixed and we didn't know what happened to it. So I don't trust any of these websites. So I'm going to bring it up for you. Ready?
Hold on. Let me see if I got it. Do you see a meme?
Yeah, it says meanwhile in Minnesota.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it's up.
Okay. That's the first thing I wanted to show. Mm-hmm. And then let me pull up.
Ooh, scary. Merry Krampus.
This is Merry Krampus not.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that. We did that movie.
Yeah, this is what's going on downtown San Antonio tonight. They had the Krampus March.
Scary.
Then let me see. Okay, this kind of long, 18 minutes, but worth it.
Can't hear anything.
Hold up. Hold on. All right. Her screen. All right.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up.
Let me know if you can hear this or not.
Okay, go.
President Trump went on a late night social.
Still can't hear it?
No, I can hear it. I can hear it.
Okay, here we go.
Rampage, firing off over 160 posts in just 5 hours. Of course, the media is calling him unhinged, but buried in that barrage was something that has Washington freaking out, especially the Obama family. Trump reposted content from Alex Jones featuring Patrick Byrne, who is now claiming that Michelle Obama herself may have actually used Joe Biden's auto pen to push through last-minute pardons. The paper presidency just got a new name attached to it. And here's why this matters, because we've already reported on Trump declaring all auto pen signed documents null and void. He's called Biden's administration a hologram presidency run by handlers with a robot pen. But now the accusation has a specific target, Michelle Obama. The claim, the former first lady may have been the one physically operating the auto pen in the final days to sign pardons for the regime's inner circle. Now, there is no public proof of this. It is an allegation, but Donald Trump signal boosted it to millions, and that turned a theory into a political grenade. And the corporate media immediately attacking, calling Trump a lunatic, saying he's spiraling. But his supporters see something else. A president willing to name names and expose what they believe was a shadow government operating behind a mentally diminished figurehead. The legal battle over whether the auto pen pardons are valid will rage on, but politically, the Obamas just got dragged into the center of this firestorm. And while the political class tries to hide their decline behind robot signatures and handlers, the rest of us have to actually take care of ourselves. In a recent clinical trial, women who took 2.5 grams of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks saw a 25% reduction in eye wrinkle depth, a 9% improvement in skin elasticity, and a 29% boost in hydration. That's why I use BioTrust Ageless Multi-Collagen. It supercharges skin health. You see, this is not just Trump ranting into the void. Diamond and Silk picked it up. Eric Daugherty blasted it out. Accounts across the platform are now repeating the same phrase. Trump suggests Michelle Obama was caught using Joe Biden's auto pen. Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee dropped its own bomb with Representative James Comer, stating that there were never any meetings scheduled for Biden to review pardon applicants. His staff hid his decline, blocked access, and used the auto pen even after Merrick Garland's own DOJ said not to do it. So the question is no longer just whether Biden was signing his own documents. The question is who was signing them for him and what did they get in return? On your screen, you can see the post that was made by President Trump. Wild. Michelle Obama may have used Biden's auto pen in the final days of his disastrous administration to pardon key individuals, Patrick Byrne reveals. Now, this is the Truth Social post. You can clearly see that President Trump took a screenshot of the post and then shared it on Truth Social, not unlike when the president has done similar things with posts that I have made. If you remember the Chipocalypse meme that I made, Chipocalypse Now, or even the YouTube victory when he won $25 million from YouTube, things of that nature. So this is how President Trump reshares some of these things. And before we get into that, this is the actual post from Alex Jones that was posted. As you can see, same text, but there was video attached. Now, President Trump did not include that video in his Truth Social post. So let's listen in detail. Now, think about it this way. President Trump screenshots the post, shares the header, and that's it. The only way for President Trump to do that is if he were to actually watch this video here and essentially agree with it to start the narrative. And now the narrative is exploding all over the web. Let's listen.
In the last days, they're now turning on their former bosses, which shows they know they're done. I mean, explain how big a deal that is to have their top people, because it's not just, they've already gone to the White House. Then when the White House says, well, then go show us. If we were to trust you, go public. They're now going public. So explain what happened last week.
Well, networks, a general rule is networks under pressure break down. They start breaking down, people turn on each other. So just by keeping the pressure on over a long time, it's breaking down. People are off trying to make their own deals. People are not, roll early, roll often. When you're in a mafia like this, you want to be one of the first guys to roll. It doesn't do you any good to wait till other people have given up the information. But yeah, they recently came out, Michelle Obama, in the last days of Biden, Michelle Obama went in and used the auto pen. I think there were 4 or 5 pardons she gave. And then you'd love to see, who knows if they charged $1 million a pardon, who knows how that's so illegal. That is so illegal. But they've gotten away with murder for 17 years. There's no rule of law on all these crazy scandals that you've talked. There's no rule of law.
I watch body language. I've seen Obama in the few interviews he's done. He is a stuttering idiot. He is scared. All of his bravado is gone.
Well, for the first time in life, he hasn't got a bunch of people carrying him, and he's turned gray. I mean, he just looks terrible. I'm sorry to see that. I don't want him ill health. But he overthrew the country, and I'm saying that as a guy who worked for him. I was a national intelligence asset directly under his pen. And I'm telling you, he tried to overthrow the United States government. It all started Thanksgiving of 2015. It's when it really all, at the very least, it really all started then.
All right, stay there. Let's go to Venezuela.
So there you have it. That's the post that President Trump witnessed himself with his own eyes, decided to share it with the world. Now, continuing to some of the reaction, of course, as we covered this yesterday, President Trump canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the auto pen did so illegally. And we have some more. This, again, it's all over. Trump says Michelle Obama was caught using Joe Biden's auto pen. Articles everywhere. All Biden pardons canceled because Michelle Obama used Biden's auto pen. Mexico will pay for the wall. Grocery prices are down. We cut drug prices 1,500%. And of course, they're calling it dementia. This guy, Tom Stark. Continuing right on. Here's Patricia. Who used the auto pen? Was it Michelle Obama? Danny K. Politics. Trump reposts Alex Jones' claim that Michelle Obama may have used the auto pen in final days, prompting social media concerns about the president's mental health. Of course, nobody wanted to talk about Joe Biden's mental health for his entire administration. Trump makes a couple posts on Truth Social, and it's certainly all called into question. Even Jimmy Kimmel decided to break down Trump's latest Truth Social rant, which included 160 posts sent in just 5 hours. We'll dig a little bit deeper into this. We won't play the clip. However, let's see. Another day, another barrage. This is what they write. This is from Mashable. Another day, another barrage of Truth Social posts from the president, but this time even Jimmy Kimmel was shocked by the sheer volume. He says, it was snowing in Washington today, and there was a blizzard last night, an avalanche of angry posts on Truth Social from guess who, says Kimmel. Our president, and I know I've said this before, but for real this time, he went completely off the rails. The man who's allegedly running the country banged out an onslaught of posts and reposts in a furious social media blitzkrieg that started at 7:09 p.m., went nonstop until almost midnight. From 7 to 12, he posted 160 times. It's an average of every 2 minutes for 5 hours straight. Yeah, well, if you were President Trump and you were constantly attacked by the media, you were dragged into court, and you had to get a mugshot, I think you would be just as pissed.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you knew for a fact that the auto pen was running the country, and then you find out that Michelle Obama may have had a hand in it. Now, we all know the story that Barack Obama said, if I had a third term, I'd love to have a little earpiece in the guy's ear, and I'd whisper in his ear, and I'd tell him what to do. That's basically what that entire presidency was. Remember, Barack Obama never left Washington, D.C. He set up an office in a home where he continued his operations. So it's really not a far stretch to consider that Michelle Obama actually may have had a hand in that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think we would have to check on all of the logs to see if Michelle Obama actually went to the White House, when she went to the White House, or, I mean, that would give you substantial proof from the White House logs. However, she could have given orders from outside. She could have used a whisper network to facilitate the orders that perhaps came from Barack Obama himself. So there's still a lot of questions here. Of course, these are claims that are made by Patrick Byrne, but there still needs to be more deeper investigation. And of course, with President Trump amplifying it, the investigation is happening. I mean, the internet is doing its thing. Even People Magazine talking about it. Trump fires up on the 160 post late night Truth Social spree, covering everything from Christmas to Michelle Obama. Megaphone News England. In a new record for rant binges, U.S. President Trump unleashes 160 posts on Truth Social Monday night between 7:09 and 11:57 p.m., sometimes with barely a minute between them. The posts range from attacks on his political opponents to self-praise and misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they like to call it. Diamond and Silk even weighing in. Trump suggests Michelle Obama was caught using Joe Biden's auto pen. Megyn Kelly calling out Michelle Obama for not liking America or Barack and for being narcissistic and racist. Kelly Dems Michelle for blaming all her problems on white people and thinking we care about her hair. Get over yourself, Michelle.
She's really obsessed with, has there ever been a more racist first lady? She's a racist. That's what we've learned about Michelle Obama. It was a slow reveal. Like, we started to learn, first we found out she doesn't like America. And then we found out on her show she doesn't like her husband, at all. Then we started to find out she's really obsessed with herself. She's somewhat narcissistic. And then we found out she's a racist. She really can't stand white people. Every problem in her life is as a result of some white person who she imagines is judging her. Like, we're actually spending time thinking about whether her hair is curly or straight. I have news for you, Michelle. On behalf of all whites, we have better things to do. So get over yourself. Has there ever been
Get over yourself? Well, apparently she didn't, and was apparently or allegedly sending orders. Silent Orbit writes, I just wondered what would happen if Melania Trump spoke about black folks the way Michelle Obama speaks about white folks. Here's a clip.
Well, it's like a lot of people want to know, well, what do braids mean? What does she mean? Look, y'all. What does she mean? That's what white folks are. It's like, what does that mean? What are you saying? We're saying nothing except I just don't want to have to do my hair every day. And I want to go swimming. I don't want to have to worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim. And we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. It's like a lot of people want to know, well, what do braids?
Oh, well, unbelievable. Moving
Why
right
did
along
we just
here,
overhead?
President Trump posting Michelle Obama may have used the auto pen. But going deeper into the actual auto pen, kind of rehashing some of the backstory here that Adam Schiff, Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the J6 committee, all of these pardons are now null and void, according to the president. Listen.
Who operated I'm going to read you exactly what he posted. He said, quote, any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the auto pen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. He says the auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. He also says in that post, quote, I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the auto pen did so illegally. He goes on to say in that post, Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process. And if he says he was, he'll be brought up on charges of perjury. He says, thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, this was just.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. Shifting to James Comer, who is at the head of this investigation.
Scheduled. Not only did we depose the Biden inner circle, we also got the calendar, the emails. There were never any meetings scheduled for President Biden to review the pardon applicants. There was never a press conference by Joe Biden to explain what the executive order was or who he pardoned and why. There was no evidence that Joe Biden was involved. But what we did find was that this inner circle shielded President Biden. Not only from the American people, but from his own administration. So it's about the cognitive decline of Joe Biden, the fact that his inner circle covered it up, and there was no evidence that he was involved in the decision-making process. And that's why they used the auto pen so many times on legal documents, even when Merrick Garland's Department of Justice told him not to.
So let me tell you what just happened. The President of the United States reposted a claim that the former First Lady was operating the machinery of government behind a senile puppet. Legal experts say that Trump cannot actually void these pardons by decree. The courts will likely uphold them, but that's not the point. The point is that millions of Americans now have Michelle Obama's name fused to the auto pen scandal in their mind. The paper presidency narrative just became the Obama presidency narrative. And no amount of media damage control can put that genie back in the bottle. So this is what happens when you run a government through handlers and hope that nobody notices. For 4 years, we watched Joe Biden shuffle through events, lose his train of thought, and disappear for days at a time. Now we're learning that a robot pen was signing documents in his name, possibly without him even being in the room. And tonight, the accusation is that Michelle Obama herself may have been pulling the strings on last-minute pardons. True or not, the political damage is done. Trump has framed Biden's entire tenure as illegitimate, a paper president run by the Obamas and their allies, while America was told to ignore what they saw with their own eyes. The media will scream conspiracy. The lawyers will argue validity. But the American people are asking a simple question. Who was really running the country? Now, my question for you, do you believe Barack and Michelle Obama dictated the use of the auto pen? Yes or no? Drop your answers in the comments, and you can show support for this show, and you can get your own auto pen shirt right there. You see it? President Auto Pen. You got to see it. It's there in the merch shop. Get one and support the show.
In rural Stockport, Ohio, Sergeant Knowlton pulled over a driver for 11.
So, yeah, that was pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
I remember most of that stuff, and
I gotta go.
Not the Michelle Obama. Oh, I just said sorry to you in the private.
Yeah,
chat.
I know. I'm gonna get going. But
Okay.
we'll talk later. But I gotta sleep. It's just very tiring. But I'm still
Yeah,
here.
plus you're taking medicine and stuff.
Yeah, I gotta make medication now and go to bed.
Okay,
No, but
well,
very interesting stuff. But love each other. Be stronger. We'll talk later,
Yeah.
guys. Talk to you soon.
yeah. Bye,
Bye.
Ruben.
Bye.
See you. But yeah, that was really interesting. I had all the other stuff I understood, but I never heard that before about Michelle Obama being the one that was in there pushing the pin around. If you know what I'm saying. That's pretty interesting, Bruce. Thank you for sharing that with us. Are you there? Maybe he had to step away. But okay, well, I guess it'll give me a chance to bring up this next thing. Let me see. Let me find out which one it is real quick. Oh, God. I'm having a hard time finding it. Just give me a sec. Oh, here it is. Number 12. Okay. I want to open the right one. This is one of the hardest things I have is trying to remember what's what. Okay, here we go. This I thought was pretty interesting. It's an interview with this woman who trains CDL drivers in Texas, the state of Texas. This is happening. So the sad truth is that while everybody's working in 2 or 3 jobs or whatever to pay their taxes, taking care of their yard, their kids, and all these things, our cities and towns are being taken over by people who corrupt people who want to, do whatever they can to make extra money for their vacations or whatever else, and all while screwing over the taxpayers, basically, because you're paying for most of this crap. But as we've seen more and more of, all these illegal drivers getting driver's license that can't even read the road signs or know the rules at all, because they don't come here to assimilate. They don't come here to become Americans. They come here to make a quick buck to send back wherever they came from. And if something happens to them, they know they just can go back home and maybe come back and start over again because there's no punishments. From what they can see, it doesn't look like anybody gets punished for anything. They just do whatever they want, just like those guys defecating all over the food factory place and doing whatever they want, basically because that's what they're used to, and they haven't been held accountable for anything. So why not keep doing it? But I want to play this because I thought it was pretty interesting, and then we can talk about it afterward. But here we go.
these students asked the instructors, and they did me once, to slow the truck down so they could take pictures of things. Overpasses,
Oh, let's go into this.
intersections. Yeah.
What did that look like? Just pulling out a cell phone and taking pictures of infrastructure? What? Okay. Your best guess here. Your student wants you to slow down to take pictures of stuff, which is, has that ever happened before? Have you ever had a student ask to slow down?
Never in my life or my career have I ever had anybody try to dictate anything that was happening. I am the instructor.
Right.
This is our route. This is what we're doing. And this is how you're going to comply and get through what you need to. Never have I ever been told to take a picture of a bridge or an overpass.
Was there ever pictures of, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and not go down the path of the biggest conspiracy, but were there ever pictures of scenic stuff? Were they ever taking pictures of like beautiful areas in Texas, or was it just infrastructure type things?
Just infrastructures, overpasses, things of that sort. And that's when
Was this multiple students?
it was 15, the military Afghan students.
They were all doing this.
It was just them, that specific group. There were other students there from other walks of life that were oblivious, that had no idea. They never asked any questions. They weren't, it felt like an agenda.
Pretty scary. So I'm going to share this link really quick. Let me get it real quick. Yeah, in the chat, because this is important, because it's not just this though. Where this is posted, there's other videos and different things underneath it that have comments in there, and people attaching things to the comments that I think is important if you get a chance to read some of them. Because there's little bits of this and that about different things that go along with it. And I thought it was really important. But what was it, like 3 months ago, I guess, I did a show on our show. We talked about another place, another state that had somebody taking the tests at the driver's license place for the people that were sitting in the chair, and they had like a hole cut in their shirt with a camera so that the person out in the car that was actually taking the test and telling them what buttons to push and stuff. So there's so much so many corrupt people, so many cities and towns in these states, in someone pretty much in every state, I'm thinking, where people are getting away with this stuff. And who does it help though? See, that I'm hoping that they do all the investigation to the background of it, because who is it helping? If you get, like, just like she said, these were the military guys looking at infrastructure and wanting pictures and stuff. So they're probably trying to figure out what bridges to take out, things like that, to stop certain things from happening when they need help. Let's say they decide to take out some of the grid. Well, if they take out the grid, but I got the hiccups, sorry guys, and they take out 4 or 5 different precise bridges, how does that affect them being able to fix it, or to repair it, or to send in somebody to stop the grid from going down, things like that? That's what's scary about it. But another thing that I think is interesting about it is the fact that what happens when they're able to get away with a lot of this stuff. They just get nonchalant about it. And that's one reason why I think a lot of us could tell that it was real, because they've gotten a big head and they don't even care now. I mean, they have people running for office now openly talking about socialism and communism, because they've gotten away with all this stuff for so long. They think that them taking our tax dollars and just whatever they want to do with it, it doesn't matter, that we're still going to vote for them. And the sad truth is, look what happened in New York. They did vote for them. for free shit. But the free shit's not coming from their pockets. See, it's coming from our pockets. So if we can turn off our wallets, if we can stop the flow of money, none of these people will want this stuff, because they're not going to sign up to go and do these certain things for these people if they're not getting a free place to live. They're not getting a Visa card they can just use wherever they want. Stuff like that. It's the incentive. You take the incentive away, they're going to say, fuck it, do it yourself. That's what they're going to say, because they'll go somewhere else where there's easy money. And what we have right now is just a bunch of people that are so used to getting whatever they want, just like with these, like I said, with these illegals and these Somalians and stuff. They're just so used to getting everything, you know, and not having to do much, just go to work, stuff that they normally would have done in their own country. And it's the upper people. It's where that's following the money is very important, I think, to get any of this or to make some arrests. Get the rich people, the ones who are paying, because if the CEOs and people like that are paying to have all this stuff done and not caring about the public health, like in this food places that people are doing all that nasty stuff in there, you know, I want to see people arrested. I want to see where his product went, and every single person that was affected by that contaminated product should get compensation for it. I mean, even if it bankrupts the company, I don't care. Now, I feel bad for all the people the legitimate people that work for them who might lose their job, but you know, we've got to start holding these people accountable. People say, well, you can't close the plants and these people lose their jobs. Well, guess what? How are we supposed to stop this guy if we don't put him in prison where he belongs? If we just say, give us some money and we'll pretend like it never happened. How does that fix anything? It doesn't fix anything. That means that next time they just pay a little bit more money and they get away with even more bullshit. I don't want that. I want to see people with handcuffs on going to prison for this shit that they're doing. So, are you going to bed? Well, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm almost caught up with the stuff that I had, and maybe Bruce might have a few more things that he wants to share. But pretty much, I've almost showed. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. The 2 letters. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about his investment in the how much money that we're getting now because of tariffs, things like that. Let's see, I'm trying to see what else I have on here. That's mostly all I had left. And there was a woman that came out saying that that all these things that Trump's saying about the terroristic threatening and the attacks and all the stuff that these supposed illegals are doing is all bullshit made up, and show a bunch of these riots in these little towns and stuff where they're raiding stores and they're attacking people in the street and all that kind of stuff. But anytime you do that, they say, oh yeah, that's probably 20 years old and blah, 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 blah. They don't want to believe it anyways. See? So even if you have evidence and show it to them, the people that don't want to believe it, they're just not going to believe it. They're just going to believe whatever they want anyway. So there's not really much you can do to change your mind. Bruce, are you there? He might have fell asleep. I don't know. Oh, you sent me an email? Oh, okay. I'll have to go get it. So just give me a second. Let me get something and put it on, and then I'll go to my email and open it. But hold on. Let me see. I had something here. Okay, I did that one. Oh, here's one. This was in New Orleans, and I thought it was a pretty good one. So I'll just play this real quick, and then I'll go check my email. So here we go.
City Council meeting in New Orleans descended into chaos. Now, this comes on the heels of Operation Catahoula. Operation Catahoula Crunch was led by Greg Bavino, head of Border Patrol, or at least an official there. Greg Bavino told me on Saturday in America he had a new operation coming this week. And then days later, we have an ICE operation in New Orleans with the goal of arresting 5,000 illegal immigrants, bringing safety, security to the city of New Orleans, much like what we've seen in Chicago and across the country. Well, there are some folks in New Orleans who are not too happy about that. They interrupted the city council meeting, demanding ICE-free zones, shouting, "Shame on you, let the people speak." And one protester was actually forcefully carried out. We have that moment. Let's watch it. You know, Lisa, I really feel many of these protesters are badly informed about what is happening. Vast majority of individuals taken by ICE have criminal records. We've seen what happened to Laken Riley, Rachel Morin. Safety is the preeminent concern of Greg Bavino and the folks leading this operation.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because they are being manipulated, and they're being intentionally manipulated by the media as well as people on the left, because they want the folks at home, they want these protesters to believe that it's just that ICE is coming in and just rounding up women and children. And they failed to tell the American people that 70% of the individuals who are being deported either are criminal, look at that intensity going on right there, are either criminals or pending charges. And even some of these individuals in New Orleans, you've got home invasion, armed robbery, grand theft auto, and rape as well. But those are the stories that are not told to the American people. And that's why, you know, in the process of all this, the left has been putting a target on the back of ICE agents. We know that some agents and officers have had bounties put on their heads to be kidnapped, to be murdered. We all saw what happened, unfortunately, over Thanksgiving week with the National Guard members as well. And so, unfortunately, the left, in an effort to manipulate and to propagandize, are putting our law enforcement agents in harm's way as well.
I think you're right to make that connection. You know, Carly, Bavino told me that you'll have a left-winger out there calling us Nazi or any of these named masked agents. And then he said within hours, the people on the streets he's interacting with are repeating it. So it is having a tangible effect.
Yeah, you know, I spoke to Jonathan Thompson of the National Sheriff's Association this week because he spoke before a congressional hearing on the war on badges, on how much of an impact rhetoric really does have when it comes to sparking this type of violence that you see in real time on the streets. And there is a correlation. And he brought up the fact that there were 38 deadly assaults, ambush attacks, deadly, on officers so far this year across the country. That means 38 families who do not have their loved ones because of these ambush assaults. So something is sparking this violence. And I do think that there is a deep correlation between this type of rhetoric that we hear in Washington, really careless speech, demonizing law enforcement officers who are trying to keep people safe. This operation was welcomed by state leadership in Louisiana. And the reason is because the immigrants that they are going after have extensive criminal records, but were let back out onto the streets. So you get those people off the streets, you let the people who are being harassed do their job, and everybody is safer as a result.
Ari, and you know, you have these brief moments where the media pauses and acknowledges, oh, there was a terrorist attack at an ICE facility in Dallas with anti-ICE messages on the bullets. And they pause for a moment, then they go right back to platforming some of the most dangerous voices and dangerous rhetoric that affects our ICE agents.
No, forget the media on this. The left-wing media is part of the why people try to come to America illegally. They think they can get away with it. I want to step back from this. I'm a first-generation American. My mother is an immigrant to this wonderful country. She came here legally. What I cannot stand as somebody who knows that immigration is good for America, it makes us a better country, a richer country. I cannot stand the idea that people think they can come to America illegally. If they came to America illegally, that they think they can stay in America illegally. And then moments like this, when I see people protesting to let these people stay illegally, they should be active. They should be said to be acting illegally when they disrupt a courthouse like this. No, if you came here illegally, it is ICE's job to remove you. That is part of why people come here. They come here for rule of law, law and order, safety and freedom. And if you violated that in your very first act by coming to America illegally, you are not like my mother. You are not an immigrant. You came here to love this country, be part of this country, and honor and respect its laws. You're not the same immigrants who built this country.
Well, see, that's one thing I say a lot is the fact that these people never assimilate. They never learn the language. They never learn any of the rules that apply to us because we were born and raised here, and they get everything for nothing. Okay, they go to the emergency room instead of just to a regular doctor because everything they get is free. It's all free. It's free to them only, not to you and me. We still have to pay it. And then they wonder why our groceries are more expensive, why gas is more expensive, why you can't find a place to rent. Why would a guy who owns an apartment complex, okay, rent to you for $800 a month, which what the rent used to be, when he can get the government from your tax dollars to pay him $1,200 a month for the same apartment? See, he's not going to give a shit whether you have a place to sleep, and you willingly are going to pay money you earned legally to pay rent, right? Because he's getting a check from the government every month for letting these people stay there. And if they trash the place and write on the walls and crap everywhere and do whatever, then he'll charge the government to come bring people in to clean it up and repaint and do whatever else, because he's out nothing, except making more money because he decided to let people he knew were illegal live in his property. That's why they're throwing a fit. They don't want to lose that check every month. So they don't want you to stop the illegals from living there because now they don't get that free money. See, now they have to work hard and attract real renters to their property. Because when you got a bunch of scumbags that crap everywhere, write on everything, they don't care about nothing. They don't care if it's mowed. They don't care if it's got trash everywhere or the graffiti's all over the wall. They don't care about any of that because they don't have to attract renters anymore. And they don't care what happens. And the cops won't come because it's too dangerous for the police officers. Ambulances won't come and save people that really need help, that live in houses around that area, because now it has become dangerous for them to go. It affects the whole community. Yet those dum-dums right here, because I lived in New Orleans and I love that place. I love it. But you're getting more and more of those people that stand there with their hand out expecting someone else to pay their way for everything, for their food, their clothes, for everything, their cell phones. That's what kills me. Another thing, you walk around and you see these videos that people are posting from, let's say Oregon, from Spokane, Washington, from Seattle, from California, from New York, lots of different places. And they got the zombie, people on the street that are like, they're standing there and they're like a zombie and, or laying everywhere. Guess what? Almost every one of them have cell phones. Why? Who's paying them for it? Remember when Obama phones came out? They don't have jobs. They're standing in line to get their free needles and stuff so they can shoot up. They walk around with their ass hanging out of their clothes. They have sex right there on the street with prostitutes and stuff. It's disgusting. And we pay for it. You and I, by paying taxes. And I don't know how else to do to stop it, except for what we're trying to do is clean up the stuff, get law and order back in, where if a person does that, if I still lived there in New Orleans, I'd be at the courthouse right now saying I want every one of those people arrested because they came in. I am a citizen and I should be able to sit there and listen to the meeting and do whatever without having to listen to that, or put up with that shit. I don't know. Because if it was me and I went in, it was their whatever, they were having a meeting about something, and I went in and I started shouting and using a bullhorn and using bad language or whatever, they would probably arrested me, and I would actually have to pay money to get out, and then I have to show up later on in court. But these people are probably, nothing happened to them, and that's why they keep doing it. Why won't they stop? Because if you can go into a store and take whatever you want whenever you want, why would they not do it? until all the businesses are gone and everything's in shambles, and that's too late. By then, the people that gave a shit about the place, the people that love New Orleans and want to see the beauty of the structures and all that stuff, they're already gone. They've already packed up and moved. And who's going to replace them? People that really love the place, love the culture. You're going to replace them with more of those people that think that people should get something for nothing? No. My family's from immigrants too, and half of my family were American Indian that were already here when we came over and took this country. So, I feel like I got just as much to say as anybody else, and I've mentioned that many times. But I get so sick of this crap. I'm so sick of these people pushing other people around. And nothing happening to them because there's no law and order. I pay taxes to feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, you can't walk down the street, then they're not doing their job to protect you people. And if it's not like one every so often because some guy got drunk or, something like that. It's like all the time, everywhere. And to me, that's sad that we've lost our country to that shit. All because of some narcissistic dumb pigs that think that their vacation is more important than whether you put food on the table for your family. I think it's disgraceful, and I want to get rid of those people. And the only way to do that is to get rid of them, have them arrested or fined. If we find out they're doing all this stuff, why are they living in a mansion? Why do they have 3 homes? We should take all that, confiscate everything they have, go through it, and pay back everything that they stole. And once we do that and the money goes back where it belongs, then you can take them to court and arrest them or something, and put them in prison, put them where they belong, because that's where you would be if it was you that did it. But see, that's the thing I have a hard time with, is that it seems like the same people over and over and over doing these things, yet they never get reprimanded for it. If you have a kid in your house and you let them eat whatever they want, you never make them have a bedtime, you don't make them brush their teeth, you don't make them do anything, what are they going to be like when they're 20? Are they going to have teeth because they never brush their teeth? Are they going to be able to even get a job because they didn't go to school? Because they'd say, I'm tired every day. Then they're going to play video games all day. What kind of person are you putting into society? And basically that's what we have. We're taking people from the desert, basically, that know nothing, that don't know how to take a bath, brush their teeth, they don't know the language or anything. We're just bringing here and putting them in the middle of a city, and they just go out and they see your kid at a park and they rape it. They don't give a shit. And then nothing happens, but you and your whole family's destroyed. See, that's what I don't understand. Why is that acceptable at all, ever in this country? It should never be acceptable to anyone. It doesn't matter if it was your grandmother was raped or your kid or your brother. It shouldn't matter. It's the fact that one person that came in here disrupted the whole system, yet they are the ones that we treat with kid gloves. It's pathetic and disgusting. I don't like it. I think it's horrible. But I hope you guys got something out of this that you probably didn't know about. But hi, Tree Rock Creations. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. But it's up to us. This is our country. It's ours. And if we don't fight for it, who's going to? Who's going to take back our schools? Who's going to take back our towns and fight for our children to have somewhere to raise their kids? Isn't that what life is supposed to be? You fall in love, you get married, you have a family, and you raise your kids, and then they fall in love. It's one after the other after the other. That's what I thought it was supposed to be like, but it's turned out to be that they don't even care if you have kids. You just take anybody else's kid off the street, and do whatever you want with it, because there's no rules. It's like the purge. I mean, our country is turning into the actual purge. That's what it seems like to me, that it's becoming lawless. And I can tell you right now, decent people that I know don't want to move to certain places. Nobody I know is moving to New York City. They're all leaving. And they all say, well, I want to go to Florida. I want to go to, Texas, things like that. And now we see what's happening to Texas. Texas is like, whew, it's got some bad stuff going on there. And I really feel bad for them, because if we lose Texas, we're never going to win another election when it comes to being a conservative president. We're going to have Gavin Newsom as president. And then the whole country's going to be California. So I don't want that to happen. I don't. And I hope if it does happen, I hope I'm not around anymore, because I don't want to see my country implode on itself. We really will have civil war then, because they're going to come and start taking your stuff. Because if you have 4 acres of land and you have one house on it, and you have goats or whatever, chickens and a few things like that, and the government says, well, they got all that land and we could put like 4 or 5 houses on there and have all these immigrants move in and be able to do this, that, and the other. So we're going to take their land from eminent domain, that kind of shit. And if we're not careful, that's what everything's going to be like. You're going to have nothing and be happy. Just like the whole socialism thing is socialism is for the people, not the socialists, right? The person that wants you to have nothing, they're going to have everything they want. You're going to have milk and meat, and money, and a nice place to live, and people giving them massages and doing their nails and doing all that stuff. What you do is nothing, because that's the way it is. You have nothing like your next door neighbor, but I'm in charge because I'm smart and I know how to run things. So that's why I get all this stuff. You get nothing. And people vote for that. They know that they're going to have nothing because they think they're going to be one in charge. And until it's taken from them and they realize, wow, now I have nothing. It's just like the people thinking that being transgender and all this kind of stuff, and then going to a country like, a Muslim country, and thinking that they're going to be able to just walk down the street dressed like they do in America. Well, that ain't going to happen. Guess what? I couldn't even wear this in America because I'm showing too much skin. I'm just tantalizing and wanting all the men to go crazy. So all they want to be able to see is just slits, and all they do is think about what's under there. So now, you're a target no matter what, if you're, in a burqa. And if you're a young girl, then they're all lining up to find out who's going to be your husband at 9 or 7. It's disgusting. All of it's disgusting. I'm sorry I went on a rant. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with us tonight. And hopefully we were able to entertain you a little bit. But I want to show you this video that I just got from my email. And we're going to share that real quick. So here we go. Hope you guys like it. Really funny. Thank you so much for sending me that email. Thank you, Hardwick. That was awesome. I've never seen that before, and it was really funny. I've seen him on other things. I've seen him do other things, and he's just so funny. He really is. He's definitely a showman, and but now we realize what a real good American he is too. So I'm really proud of him. But I think he's done a great job so far with everything he's been handed. But it's going to take all of us though to help to try to fix some of this mess that we have. Oh, here we go. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Texas has 40 votes. I mean, just think about it. We lose those, and I don't know what we're going to do. So Texas is in bad shape right now, and I think more people are still leaving California, so to go to Texas, and that's another scary thing. Oh, because they move because they don't like what they have, but they vote the same way. So that's bad. But I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend coming up, and thank you so much. And God bless America.
Okay, so I came to Walmart today just to see if this was real. see this? Do you see this big box of like cookie things? These? And it says product of India. Product of India right there. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this.
Puedes ir por las tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras.
Okay, so I came to